Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Command Center, where we like to put our favorite commander, maybe even yours, front and center. And you know we can't do it unless we play those three disrespectful letters, EDH. What does it stand for today, Hadoken?
It stands for Evaluating Disrespectful Heathens. That's right. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season to be passing out some backlash for these butt whoopings. That's right. We know some of y'all out there are some heathens, some straight up scallywags, some scoundrels even. We know some of y'all put ketchup on y'all fries. Disgusted. Tell them what we talking about today.
Man. We're talking about why pink sauce is strictly better than ketchup with fries. Some seasoning salt, ketchup, mayo. It's a wonderful time. Dip your fries in it. Use it for burgers.
Eggs. All right, Gordon Hamzy. This is what we're really talking about. We're talking about all these disrespectful commanders that came out this year. Yeah, those disrespectful legendaries.
Now, let me speak on this. We've had a lot of stuff come out this year. A lot of sets, a lot of secret layers, a lot of product that came out. But every so often in these sets, sometimes wizards get out of pocket. I'm talking about like loose change and lint. They just be out there.
We want to talk about some of these disrespectful legends that came out that we just want to figure out who were the pettiest legends this year. Yeah. Like who just really draws your ire, or these are cards that you play that like I really want to make a statement against that person, that individual. Yeah. So we're gonna go through. We compiled a list of who we think are the pettiest commanders of the year, and we just want to kind of go through and share with you our thoughts on. Do you feel like they should make the cut, or do you feel like something could have been better? So let us know in the comments at the end if you feel like we left some petty legendaries off the list. We're specifically going to focus on the legendaries because if not, it would just be way too long.
Yeah, I think like if you made just the pettiest cards list, we would have to do like a 7.5 hour podcast. That would be a You know what? That's what we're doing actually. So buckle on in.
Strap in.
I hope you've eaten and have plenty of sustenance for the next 3 days.
So these are some of the pettiest cards that we've seen released this year. And we talking about, mad disrespectful, like, driving the speed limit in the fast lane, like eating barbecue on the white couch, all this type of disrespectful, like listen, y'all know what we talking about.
Yeah. I think we have enough examples. So I think we're just going to jump into it. First one I want to throw on this list, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong or not.
Okay.
I played this card myself. I built the deck. But you guys remember Rona, Herald of Invasion?
Yeah, well, that was a 2-year period where we took a break.
Not that Rona. All right, we're talking about the magic card Rona that says she cares about legendaries tapping and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she gets Phyrexianized. You flip her over. She turns into Rona Tolarian Obliterator. And that's who we're serving up first. Is Rona Tolarian Obliterator a petty card? Yeah. Because specifically for those who don't know, I'm just going to read it real quick. Whenever a source deals damage to Rona, the source's controller exiles a card from their hand at random. She gets to cast it for free, or if it's land, you get to put it in play.
So here's the deal. This is a very petty card, but you see, everybody look at the clap back and not the clap. What she said is, don't come for her and she won't come for you. Because she's nice in your face, but as soon as you turn your back, she going to stab you in it. That's what I'm talking about.
So how does this rank on your petty meter?
On the petty meter, I give it like a 6.3 on the petty meter because it's responsive. All right. It's don't cross this line, and if you're a habitual line stepper and you cross that line, you will get slapped.
That's right. I like that.
I do. I like it because it is petty, but it is also, I wouldn't call it disrespectful because honestly, if you're blocking my creature swinging at you, I feel like you're being disrespectful because my creature wanted to come say hi.
Yeah.
And you just straight up said, no, I don't want you to come say hi. You're being double disrespectful actually. Because if you're throwing your own creature in front of this, you basically took your own creature, said, I don't value your safety. I'm going to throw you in front of this terrifying obliterator. And then you disrespect my obliterator because it was just coming on trying to do its thing. And then you disrespect me for making me witness it.
A great poet once said, you better call before you come. You just don't pop right over out the blue. You better not be swinging at me without my permission, okay? You come in my door. I don't care if you got a watchtower or trying to tell me about my car's steering warranty. I don't want to hear. You better tell me first.
It's crazy that you know that whole Shakespeare quote word for word.
I know, man.
That's wild.
I think it came from Taming of the Shrew.
Probably. Yeah.
That's right. I remember that. All right, so next one we want to serve up for you is Hidetsugu and Kairi.
Mad.
So wait. Let's tell the people what it does. I think we got a witness already. But let's tell the people what they do. All right. It's two.
You ever tell you what it does?
Hold on.
It kicks in your front door and takes a dump in your toilet. That's exactly what it does.
All right. It's two blue and a black. 5/4 flying ogre demon dragon. All right, that's a lot. But
it's because it's demented.
So basically, it gets a little convoluted, but Ken's gonna testify to how he got disrespected and violated by this card. But when it enters the battlefield, you draw 3 cards. Put 2 cards from your hand back on the top of your library.
So you brainstorm.
Like brainstorm. Yeah. When HK dies, exile the top card of your library. Target opponent loses life equal to that card's mana value. If it's an instant or sorcery card, you can cast it for the free skis. All right, so Ken, before you start testifying, Derek, give me your evaluation on this card.
So when I remember seeing this when the set was being previewed and everything, and didn't think twice of it. It's another card with a bunch of text on it. I figured, oh, it's got an ETB trigger, dice trigger, it's whatever. Like, it'll do some stuff. The first time I saw this in practice, and we're going to shout out the same person here. Shout out to Danny.
His name is Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel. It was the most terrifying thing, because I didn't think about the fact that because it's ETB and dies, and there's no casting involved, if you just have this enter, sack it, reanimate, you could basically get into loops where you can just constantly get cards, draw cards, cast things for free, take extra turns, cast huge mana value spells, and literally like combo off within like 3 turns.
So story time. So we was playing against our friend Danny, and I've never seen this before. And I'm thinking, okay, turn 2, turn 3. All I know is this came out on turn 3, and I just started smelling almonds. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I woke up with a bloody nose and a siren, and I looked around. And I was in the Arby's. So a lot of bad things go down with this.
That was the worst part right there.
That was the worst part. Ain't nothing worse than getting suffocated with the beef and cheddar. So a lot of stuff goes bad when you play this card. Like, all my senses go off. Like, I got scared. I started to sweat. My brain registered shark attack. So this is a very disrespectful card.
It evokes petty. I don't think it is petty, but it is the most terrifying. And the thing is, like,
it can be built pettily.
Yes. Well, it's also the deal of, like, my brain, I like creature combat focused decks. So when you start getting to these combo, play, die, sack, reanimate, play, die, instant, and you're like comboing off, my brain cannot track it. So every time I've played against this deck, it's almost like I'm a little kid on a car where like, are we there yet? I literally just like turn to, are we dead yet? Mm-hmm. Are we dead yet? Because I have no ability to track what's happening other than the fact that everyone's about to die.
Scientists say that the saltiest place on the earth is the Dead Sea. But the day somebody plays this, that's me. Okay. Yeah. I don't even know what water looks like. That's how salty I get.
So I was there for this game. I remember it very vividly. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to rate this low on the petty scale only because it depends on how the player who plays the deck pilots it. I think we all became petty after experiencing the card, but I don't think the card itself is that petty. Does that make sense? It invokes petty.
It's the cause, not it's the cause, not the effect of the petty. All I know is
I didn't give it a ranking. I'll give it a 6.47 out of 8.
All I know is that we bonded as one that day.
Yeah. We unified and was like, you know what? Never again.
Never again.
No.
Never again.
Never again. All right, let's keep it moving. So also showing up around the Marching Machine era, we got my boy Heliod. He got Phyrexianized, unfortunately. And front side, not as good as the back side, and not even as good as the other Heliods, but we're going to focus on the back side.
And now we'll talk about Magic.
Well, we're going to focus on the back side of the Warp Eclipse.
Y'all remember when Magic only had one side of a card?
I know, right? It's crazy. Basically, all right, so it says that you may cast spells as though they have flash. Mm-hmm. Already a red warning light should be going off in your head. Then it said, the second text says, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. So for all of you, I don't want to be too harsh, but degenerates who like to draw, 14, 21 cards per turn with your greater goods and whatnot. Looking at you, Josh. You have some comeuppance because I get to cast spells too, but they get to be reduced because of you.
The thing is about this is it's not. I've played against this deck a lot, and it almost reminds me of like Rhystic Study and things like and like a Smothering Tide.
Yeah.
In a certain sense, because I don't get petty at you. It's the greed around the table. We'll use Rhystic Study as an example. Mm. I've seen opinions from like people who play like more like 60 card formats and stuff that look at Rhystic Study and they're like, it's not that good. All you have to do is get taxed by 1 and they get nothing. They spend 3 mana on an enchantment. You're taxed by 1 until you find an answer and they get nothing from it. The thing is, Commander players don't pay their taxes ever. And every time I'm in a game where something like this is happening and the greed happens of whether it's not paying one for heuristic study, or in this case, seeing this on the table and continuing to just draw cards because they don't care, immediately, that is the peak of my petty. I will say, we talk about scales, this is going to be a 72.3 out of 5 because this is the highest damn rating that I can give. If you're going to sit there and just draw cards and be like, oh, I'll find it, you're being so selfish. There's other people there. And that's the same thing that's happening when you're not paying for your heuristic study, when it's the minor inconvenience of, oh, I'll wait till next turn to draw cards, or I'll pay 1 mana right now. It literally will make me not even look at the person playing the card. You're good. The person that's not paying their taxes, the person that's drawing away, everything is coming at you. I don't care about winning anymore. It brings out the peak petty.
It's actually a statistical fact that Magic conventions are rarely held after April because Commander players don't pay their taxes. That's how serious it is. They know they're waiting for us. You should have been out there in Vegas. It was a line of them. We thought it's a lot of people going to play Magic. No, those were auditors. Anyway.
So personal experience, I've built this deck. I've built several iterations just to see how I can get the petty flowing on the table. I have encouraged drawing for opponents. It's literally optional. I'm building the deck fair. It is optional for you to draw cards, like with cards like Quain and whatnot. Like, it's like, hey, you can draw a card and gain a life. What do you say? And everyone, for the most part, will take me up on the offer. And I'm like, cool, do you? My spells are going to be cheaper because I'm a blue player now and I don't have to play on my turn.
In the words of the great Wayne Brady, this is not an option. So, and another thing, put the picture up there. Look at the picture.
It's up there.
Look at the picture. That looks like something that you see when you eat bad meat at a buffet. All right, we don't want none of these problems.
And just a closing thought on this: pay for heuristic study, please. Like, if I go in a random game, I tend to be a friendly-ish person. For the most part. But if you don't pay for your heuristic study, the angry feral Derek will come out. And I'll start jumping on top of tables and growling and like howling at the moon and shit. Like, I need, please pay for heuristic study. Smothering Ties, pay for it. Take your time, make sure it gets removed, and make the person who cast it suffer for what they've done to the table. Don't anguish. Feed what they're doing.
Don't reward me. I mean them.
Yeah, he says this until I hit the table and then everybody doesn't pay their taxes.
All right, we're gonna keep it moving. We're still in Marching Machines because there was a lot of petty. There's a lot of petty in this set. All right, we're about to talk about Atali Primal Conqueror.
Let me speak on this.
You go ahead and talk.
Let me speak on this.
This is the first time most people are seeing your head.
Let me speak on this, okay? This is one of the most disrespectful cards I've ever seen in creation. I thought old Atali was bad because I was thinking, okay, you attack, you get stuff. No, old Atali ain't got nothing on new Atali. First of all, 7/7, 7 body, 7 booty. Flavor win, I love it. I can eat more of it. Cool. ETBs, it says, give me your stuff. What? Can you ask first? No, run it. All right, 3. Then the SOB, son of the bee's knees, says I can flip and kill you because I'm also hiding. I'm a blight still just hiding in the background. Do you know how many people I've smoked? Blazed up like the Chronic album because they did not see it coming.
I don't know. I just need to know who saw OG Atali and was like, you know what? This thing is just like nothing about this card is good. Because before Atali, I think Atali is like a perfectly designed card originally. Not 6 mana for 6/6, no evasion. You have to attack. You need to work to give it haste, and you could have a turn where you cast enough spells to win the game off of this card. And it was done in a fair way. They decided that with this one, the fact that it's on ETB for 1, so you don't have to worry about attacking, any sort of flicker effect or anything, you get it over and over and over again. All that's okay. Despite the fact you can't miss, you can't whiff. And that's the thing that kills me is why do you flip until you hit something? This is so like if it was like OG Atali, it would still be busted. Still be busted if you just flip the top card because of how easy it is to abuse with flicker effects. But no, you're guaranteed to hit stuff and you're playing in Commander. And look, this is probably that same table you're sitting at. People not paying for the heuristic studies, not being responsible. They probably got some crazy, scary stuff on top of their library, and you're just flipping into it every time.
The chances of you missing this is like a person peeing outside and missing the floor. It's very, very much impossible.
This card is so scary that I honestly forget that it's a Blightsteel on the back because the front is so scary that I'm like, oh, by the way, Blightsteel's just chilling there. Like,
and pray to God that you exile it, because if you put it in the graveyard, it's coming back.
100% it's coming back. I don't know what kind of monster would play one that you just keep bringing back from the graveyard over and
All
over
I know
again.
is whatever dirtbag who plays this card needs to go and be locked up. The last time I played this card, I hit an omniscience, and I felt dirty on the inside. I felt actual gross. Atali hit the battlefield. And if I was the person came to me with this card, I'd tell them they was fired and I would call the police.
It almost seems like one of those like Christmas cards that Wizards makes. You know how they make like the holiday cards or like the specialized cards for employees that are like super cool, super busted or weird. And it's like, okay, obviously this would never see print. Almost like a playtest card. It feels like it's a playtest where it's like, oh, here's a new Italian. Oh, by the way, flip it over. There's a Blightsteel. Like, it doesn't feel like it's a real thing.
All right. So we could clearly rant on this forever. I want Derek to give a score for this one.
Okay, the score for this one, I gave a 72.3 out of 6, I believe, for the peak of pettiness.
Yeah.
So if this is not peak petty, I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 54.5 out of 20.
What?
I think that's where it's gonna land for me. It's
because it's doing petty things and it invokes petty and it brings a petty. Like, it does. It's crazy.
But I think it's more of a power thing than a petty thing.
Okay.
Where it's like but you are stealing my stuff, so it breaks the petty scale, but it doesn't quite measure up to people not paying their taxes.
True.
I one time played it, and then I hit somebody else's Atali, and then they threw the whole deck at me. So
I'm scooping at that point. If somebody Atali's into an Atali, I'm done. I've done enough.
All right, guess what? We're still in Martian Machine.
I'm switching to modern.
We're still in Martian Machine.
You do know other sets exist, right?
I went through the sets one by one.
Martian
I was like,
Machine was the petty highlight.
I was like, wait a minute now, hold on. All right, so next we're about to talk about is Drana and Linvala. I'm gonna stop right there before we even go any further.
Why would you put Linvala next to
Linvala by itself invokes and brings the petty.
Yeah.
Now you staple Linvala to another card. All right, let me keep going. 1, 2 white, and a black. Vampire Angel. I'm going to just read the abilities that matter. Activated abilities of creatures your opponents control cannot be activated, and this creature also has the activated abilities of your opponent's creatures. And you can just spend mana anyway to act those abilities if you need to. So I'm going to shut down your activations, but I also get to do them. How are we feeling?
I feel horrific because I've actually seen this card in play. So what's that blue-green cat that lets you look at the top card, and if it's the land, it's a blue-green. It's a Simic.
Are you talking about what else does it do?
And then if it's a land, it goes to the battlefield. If it's not, it goes to your hand.
Coiling Oracle. Coily, yeah. You know, that's the ETB. Look at the top. If it's a land, it goes to play.
No, this is the activated abilities. Like, you pay 4 mana.
Oh, you're talking about
Thrasios.
Yeah.
I've seen somebody do this to somebody's Thrasios, and I almost threw up.
All right, if you're playing Thrasios, you probably deserve to have it done to you. As someone who plays Thrasios.
I almost threw up.
Oh my, yeah, that's yeah. So far it's invoking the petty. All right. So any other stories? Any other thoughts or feelings about this? I personally haven't seen it done or play yet, but I think I want to build this.
I think it can be peak petty because the thing about this is because it's your commander. You can, so for example, if we're sitting at a table and we're just, all trying to have a good time and we're all picking decks, I'm like, you know what? What if I play, I don't have, this is the commander, but what if I play the Scarab God? Or what if I have Thrasios as one of my commanders? And you just like reach over to the side and be like, oh, I'm picking this deck. And you literally just say, okay, by the way, all your commanders, they don't have abilities, but mine. That is to like, what?
Kenrith.
All the abilities.
And that's the thing I think that makes this petty is if you're just playing this in the 99 or if you're playing it as a commander and you're not purposefully being petty, it does a thing. But if you do the slow roll while people are picking decks, and don't do this to random people, don't be mean, but be mean to your friends. That's why your friends love you. You wait until everybody picks it. You see your friends pick their like really Kenrith's a great example, an obnoxious card. Thrasios, an obnoxious card. You wait till they pull out those obnoxious overpowered decks and then just go off to the side and put this out there, and that is petty that's petty with a purpose. That is petty for a good reason.
First of all, meta decking is horrific in the first place. Okay, what are you guys playing? Okay, I'm gonna go get this deck. I will personally throw something at you. I will hit you with the whole plate.
All right, Ken, give us a rating.
All right, a rating. This is mad disrespectful. I'm gonna give this one a 92, a 9.2. Okay. 92 out of 100, 9.2 out of 10.
Okay.
It would have been
Yeah.
more interesting if it was 9.2 out of 100, 92 out of 10. It really makes you think.
I'm not doing this.
All right, so we got one more.
We think it's this year. Math's hard.
One more Phyrexian knives that we're going to talk about. Because there's just so much Phyrexia over the past year. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
We're talking about Mom herself. Elish Norn, mother of machines.
Oh, no.
If you don't know, you need to know. Sit down, strap in, buckle up. All right, 4 and a white. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a trigger ability of a permanent you control to trigger, you get an additional trigger. All right, that's just for you. Here comes the petty part.
Panharmonic. Oh, was it Panharmonic Mom?
Panharmonic Mom.
Yeah.
First of all,
Permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. So it's almost like Limvala again, just a little bit, but this is the ETB side now. This is the triggered abilities, not the activated ones.
Oh.
so this card is mad disrespectful. You don't want to see it in any capacity. And once it hits the table, your first inkling is the one, poop yourself and then scoop. In that order, because the poop actually hits the stack.
Poop and scoop.
It does.
Poop and scoop.
Poop scoop.
Yeah.
Poop and scoop. Are we flipping tables on this one too?
All day. All day.
This is one of the most infuriating
And
cards
then,
I've ever seen.
Like all day.
Let
Like,
me. I'm gonna expound on this one actually, because I didn't come across Elish Norn Mom too much in a while. Maybe once at the game store at the LGS. But I remember we played a stream. I was playing with somebody, and Mom showed up, and the table managed. I think actually I managed to kill Mom. I was feeling proud of myself, and I actually had the spider Shalab. So I ended up getting a copy of this as a food token. So I became the bad guy. I stopped feeling bad, but. Yeah, I remember taking Ken's mom. First time I got to play with it. It's usually I get to play with everybody else's cards before I play with before I get one myself.
It's a good way to play test. It saves you money. You
Yeah.
use other people's cards first.
Yeah, say it, test it, mother approved. All right, so
the anger rages inside.
it became, hey, we have to stop Ken. Say, hey, we need to stop saying. And I was feeling proud of myself.
And what ticks me, everybody burned their resources on me so they couldn't stop him. And I was like, you trash goblins.
It's trash goblin.
There's one thing in particular that bothers me about this card, because it's that double effect, like all the Praetors, where you get something, they lose something. It's like the classic Vorinclex thing of just like shutting people down while you're getting all this advantage.
You don't get to do it, but I get to do it twice.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that kills me is for 4 mana, you get a Panharmonicon. So for 1 additional, you get Panharmonicon, which this might even be better because I think the way it's phrased, it triggers more things. I think Panharmonicon specifies certain card types.
Creatures and artifacts.
Yeah. So this is already better in that sense. But for 1 additional, you can shut down your opponents. And the thing that I strongly dislike is it's typically, when you talk about permanents entering, a lot of the time it's going to be like creature-based decks and things like that. So many times this is going to punish the most the people playing the quote-unquote fairest decks. If you're playing this like high-speed combo deck with like Spellslinger, all these different things, a lot of the more strong decks in the format are kind of just going to be unaffected. But if you're playing a creature-based combat-focused deck, or you're playing Rex Sages and stuff like that, you're just shut down. And it's not like a taxing thing where you're slowed down. There's a lot of times where when this hits the table, you just don't do anything. Your deck is literally just, well, now I just watch and hope someone wants to bail me out. And that is the worst place to be in a game, because then all of a sudden, now I'm petty towards you, but then all you other people at the table that aren't helping me and you're watching me suffer and just letting me suffer, now I'm mad at y'all too, because you're letting it live when you don't have to. And it is just, oh.
It breaks the fourth wall, because one time I sat my phone on the table when this came on, wouldn't come on.
And
My phone cut off.
And as a commander, what makes this even worse, and this is the last part of my rant, is if you play this as a commander, typically because you're in mono white, those doubling effects you're going to be getting are like Solitude and all of these removal effects. So it literally just turns into, I remove everything from the board because I keep getting this value of doubling triggers, because that's basically all ETB does in white is removal. I'm going to remove everything and not let you play Magic. So that vanilla creature that you were just forced to play because you don't get the ability, you don't even get to keep that. Like, sorry, yes.
No, you good. I just want y'all to get on the bus with me for a second. Okay. Mardu. This card, Dark Side Extortionist, the bat. I'm just saying. We can do this.
Triggered abilities. I see where you're going.
We can do this.
I see where you're
You
going.
smell where I'm stepping in.
Yeah.
Ken, you figured out a way to break Dockside. Let's write this down. Write it down.
Make sure RSC doesn't hear this so they don't ban Dockside.
We build the CEDH decks. No,
We got there, boys.
We don't build CEDH decks because we have families, all right, and morals.
All right, we're gonna move off. We're gonna move off the Phyrexians. Not too much else petty that I personally viewed out there in more sets. We're just gonna talk about a couple more cards here, but let's get to them quickly. Now we're in Wilds of Eldraine. We're looking at Talion the Kindly Lord. No, you're not. Let me tell you why. Because I know on the face, a lot of people look at this card like this is it's more weird than petty in a way when you first look at it. But then you actually sit down and think about it. It's like kind of like you said with meta decking. If you know a particular opponent's deck, you can kind of shut down at least one player at the table just a little bit, depending on how familiar you are with their decks and playstyles. Mm-hmm. But basically what this creature says is that when it enters the battlefield, you choose a number between 1 and 10. Whenever an opponent casts a spell of mana value or power or toughness equal to the chosen number, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. So it's, in a way, it's like if you know your audience, you know your opponents, you can kind of get some value from this and mess with them a little bit as well. You're not shutting them down, but like you're getting value based on information that you know. How we feeling?
To me, this is like a fun pettiness. So, Ken, I want to hear. I mean, you're eager to hear your thoughts, and I'll expand on it in a second.
So, one, the people who play low to the ground stuff, like for example, I have a deck whose average CMC is 1. And if you like Saya said, if you know what I'm playing, you can specific target me, which I'm just gonna come across the table because disrespect will be met with disrespect. So I can see what you mean by the petty meter because this is very targeted. Of course, you know if you get this out early, like if you soul ring into this on turn 2 and you just name 2 or 3, you're pretty much gonna decimate the table, especially everybody trying to do early ramp and stuff like that. Mm. So on a grand scheme, you can. But if you know somebody in particular, like if you know somebody playing dragon decks or you know all these high CMC spells, or people who play like goblins and stuff, like goblins.
Goblins typically have a lot of the same power, toughness, and casting costs. Demons, a lot of sixes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just got that.
No. Light bulbs. So one of the things that I love about this is because you can get really deep in the petty, in that if you play this, all you have to do is if you have friends who have their deck lists online, study up the night before, be prepared, know what deck they're playing, have all the numbers ready, and then when you play it, pick the number, drop the spreadsheet on the table, be like, I know what I'm doing. I picked this number, and just let the math play out and let everybody lose their lives.
So check this out. So this is how I'm gonna mess y'all up, right? Okay, we're gonna get real nasty with this. All right, I'm gonna build this deck. But then I'm gonna put Void Winter in there. Then I'm gonna put Chalice of the Void in there. Then I'm gonna put that other creature that says you can't cast stuff that's less than 4. We're gonna have fun with this.
And only let people pick one number. That's the only number they can cast.
We're gonna have fun.
He's fudging the numbers.
Fudge.
Oh, and then I'm gonna put the Grand Arbiter in there so I can make your stuff cost 2 more anyway.
Tax? You gonna tax him on top of
tax you on top of that.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go into the hospital because y'all are gonna fight me.
All right, somebody give me up. Somebody. You know what? I'll serve up the petty number on this one. I'll put this at about a 7 because somewhere between a 6 and 7 because it's really dependent on how well you know your play group.
It's an asterisk because if like I said, if you played your Krinko deck or the Krinko deck that you used to have,
yeah,
and I named 2 or 3, I'm shutting you down completely.
I'm losing so much life.
Yeah.
The thing I do appreciate about it though is because I feel like you get to be petty and like let somebody know that you chose them for a reason, but it's just. It's losing 2 life, so you can still play your deck, and that's the thing that separates it from something like an Elish Norn.
Yeah,
a lot of things, I guess, but as far as pettiness goes, you're not telling me no. You're just telling me there's a little bit of extra payment I got to make, and I'm cool with that.
And all I'm telling you is that you owe me 5 minutes outside. That's all I'm telling you.
Life's a resource. I still get to play Magic.
All right, so I'll definitely be playing this card when I go up against Ken's Karloff deck because there's nothing above a 2 CMC in that deck. Moving on.
I haven't heard the lie.
All right, moving on. Lost Caverns of Ixalan brought us some cards. I would probably, if I were to expand this list a little bit more as far as petty goes, we didn't really talk about a lot of commander decks that came out. Mostly just cards in the main sets, but the pirates are kind of disrespectful out there. Mm-hmm. Some of them vampires too, vampire demons. Madness. Yeah, I'm looking at y'all.
Hey,
yeah. But
Hawkball, Merfolk, incredibly disrespectful.
Sure.
Wow.
Last card we're going to talk about today is the ancient one. This was in, like I said, the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It's a 2-drop Spirit God.
And he ain't even got a name. They just called him the ancient one because
they forgot his name.
Exactly. That was the only thing on the birth certificate next to the number 1.
All right. So let me just go to the last ability because this is what matters. You pay 2 and
Actually, I just a fun fact that they actually got his name wrong.
Mhm.
Because they the spelling, it's like they put the spaces in the wrong spot. His name is actually Thianchi Antone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the one Italian character in the set. It's Thianchi Antone.
Ah,
You see?
I see it now. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the keyword, he also has Menache.
See?
that's true.
Bam.
It's true.
So nah, I just wanted to get his name. That's why he was, he's ancient, but they
Okay.
forgot, so they just mixed it up a little bit.
All right. But either way, Victor, your art always goes hard. Anyway,
Oh, always.
I'm sorry, Victor. 2 and Demir is the ability. Draw a card and discard a card. When you discard a card this way, target player mills cards equal to the mana value of the card you discarded. So you are singling out a player to take this mill in action. And you're throwing stuff in your graveyard. You're in Demir. So that means that you don't really care about what you're throwing in the graveyard because 9 times out of 10, you can get it back with Resurrection or some type of a repeat recursion spell. So, Black Steel, I just play. Find all the biggest, dumbest CMC cards you can get for this deck.
Eldrazi's. Oh, excuse me. I apologize.
Yeah.
Is that a cold select that just drops? Oops.
I'm sorry. Oops.
You know what my favorite thing about this? Milling is one of the funniest things because this is incredibly petty because the thing is you can just keep picking the same person. So whoever's annoying you at the table, you just keep drawing, discarding. You keep milling. You keep milling. And milling always cracks me up because look, if you're trying to win with mill, you're probably not trying to actually win. You're probably just there to annoy people because I love mill and I can count on one hand the number of times I've won by like actually milling people, not
Same.
trying to like combo off, but
Same.
like just straight up mill.
I'll be honest. I mill people by accident.
But it
always screws me over when you do it.
But it is the perfect way to be petty because people get upset about mill to no end. So you're realistically, by doing this to them, you're not affecting their chances in the game. You're not like swaying how the game's going to work out really, but you are getting under that one person's skin over and over again in the most like, it's almost just like, just poking somebody or just like giving somebody like a little like tickle behind the neck or something like that. Just enough where you're not actually hurting them in any way, but you're going to drive them crazy slowly. And that's exactly what this does. And Thianchi Antone is the best at doing that. It's just, you're not really hurting anybody, but you're going to make them think they're being hurt.
Yeah.
I think the pettiest part about this card is the big stick that he's carried just to beat the Jesus out of you. I think that's one of those Gandalf, you should have passed sticks right there.
Nah, you're looking at it wrong. That's not even a stick. That's a scythe.
That's a switch.
You don't see the other end of the scythe.
Back in my day, we used to have to go break the tree off. That's what we used to get beat with.
All right, I see what you're doing, Thianchi. I'm definitely gonna. I've taken a look at this card and I'm like, yeah. But now that I've actually kind of thought about it a little bit more, I'm definitely gonna do this.
It looks very fun.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, you see, he's a spirit guide. Y'all have heard of the Holy Ghost? That's the angry ghost because he coming for it.
All right. This is the Ghost of Christmas Petty. Sorry. So we've gone through our list. There's a lot more that we possibly could go through, but we just don't have the bandwidth. There's probably a lot more petty legendaries that came out this year. Like I said, we skipped the Universes Beyonds. We skipped the Commander Dex pre-con sets for the most part. We kind of just look at the main sets because we figured there was enough petty going around. Let us know what you think about the petty cards that you saw that before we get out of here, what was the pettiest card we talked about today, in your opinion? Who's your petty card?
No. Hetsugu.
Hidetsugu?
Yes. Oh, yeah. 100%. I've never. That's one of the only decks I don't play like competitive.
Okay.
That's one of the only decks I've ever played where like turn 3, my only thought was not how can I affect this game. It's like, am I just dead yet? I don't really know what I'm supposed to do.
That is the only card that I wish had a physical form so I could punch it.
All right, so my vote
that would not go well for you, sir. Such a demon ogre dragon.
To quote the great poet Leroy Jenkins.
I did hear that. All right, my vote is gonna probably have to go to Elish Norn Mom, just because of I think I've felt the fear that you guys felt from Hidetsugu more so from Elish Norn. Even though I was in that game, I think I checked out, blacked out, and just started shuffling up as soon as it started happening. So I was not attached to that game the same way you guys were.
Yeah.
So, but I've seen the devastation of Mom.
Elish Norn is more of a fear like I hear the popcorn kernel stop popping, so I think it's burning. That's more of the fear it gives me.
It's like, did I leave the stove on?
Yeah. Wait.
I should probably go back and check.
That bread is burning. But yeah, that's more of a thrill I get from the Ellis Norn.
All right, cool. All right, so let us know who was the pettiest commander that we talked about today. You might notice we don't have a very strict definition of petty. That's just how we do things here.
It's a way of life. It's a being. It's a state of being.
It's a feeling. You know petty when you feel it. Let us know in the comments who were some of the pettiest legends that you saw printed this year. Let us know if you disagree or agree with some of our picks and whatnot. And just, let us know all around, like how you think about the sets that came out this year. This is our kind of the end of the year wrap up as well. We thought that Magic was just crazy, bonkers, way too many legends being printed this year, but still a lot of fun that we're going to get out of this for years to come.
And can't wait to next year, because next year is going to be even wilder. Spotlight, by the way, give a shout out, because if we're going to see you guys in Chicago, I don't know why they chose the coldest place on earth to host a Magic convention. I guess to keep us all inside spending money. But, we'll see you there. And, maybe we can share some hot cocoa and maybe some, what's that called? That when you can't feel your legs?
Hypothermia.
There we go, hypothermia.
We can huddle together for warmth.
Exactly.
Or, in Ken's case, Hidetsugu Hikari. Like and subscribe. Check out our sponsors for today, TCG Player, and also Into the AM. Check out their merch. Let them know we sent you. Let them know we said what's up. But yes, please like and subscribe, and can't wait to see you all next year.
One more thing, we are a stone's throw away from 20K, so make sure you tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell an enemy.
That we coming.
I know it.